Greetings, friends. My name is Pavel Shtermach, and now we'll unveil the top news of recent days. Ukrainian victory plan. So many conjectures, so few specifics. But that's for it now. After all, Volodymyr Zelenskyy is already in the USA, and various mass media are writing different information about this plan. Let me remind you that the president of Ukraine announced that he is taking the victory plan to the USA, which he will present to Joe Biden as well to presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Let's talk about the official information first. In an interview with CNN in September, Zelenskyy said that Ukraine has prepared a plan with 4 main points and one that will be needed after the war. The president's office later explained that the victory plan will contain 4 points: military aid to Ukraine, economic steps, diplomatic pressure on the aggressor, and political coercion of Russia. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the Office of the President, said that the military package will be clearly structured in accordance with the current stage of the war and the analysis of what is happening at the front. According to foreign media, the document will include a detailed list of military weapons and equipment needed to defeat Russia, as well as permission to attack its territory with long-range missiles. Political coercion of Russia, its essence, according to Podolyak, is that Ukraine independently chooses its role in the global political process and has the right to be a member of any alliance, not paying attention to the demands of some third countries. It is obvious that the future membership of Ukraine in NATO is meant. The economic stimulus relates to the increase of investments in military production on the territory of Ukraine, as well as the audit of sanctions that work against the aggressor. At the same time, Ukraine will demand the introduction of new sanctions to weaken Russia's ability to continue the war. Diplomatic pressure on Russia is a separate topic, as it requires work with the countries of the neutral zone. Ukraine will insist on the need to strengthen relations with the countries of the global south, on which Russia depends, not trade, in order to exert maximum pressure on Moscow.
We invite China, we invite Brazil, I have already invited India, we are working with African nations, with all of Latin America, Middle East, Central Asia, Europe, the Pacific region, North America, all. All are equally important for peace, all, without exceptions, just as the UN Charter must work without exceptions. This is the process that will lead us to peace, to a just peace, a real peace, a peace that will last. All of us already know how to achieve it. We have the peace formula, we have the UN Charter, and we have all the strengths needed to make it happen.
However, it should not be a truce. After all, both Zelenskyy and the head of the office, Andriy Yermak, have repeatedly emphasized that there will be no Minsk III agreements. Ukraine is against any freezing of the war, and the authorities of Ukraine are talking about it at all levels. And it is important for us that the United States support Ukraine's victory plan, not capitulation or freezing. Representatives of the president's team claim that Zelenskyy clearly stands on the position of the danger of any such agreements with Russia. He is sure that any pause in the war will be used by Putin to regroup, rest, and attack again. And that's why the office of the president assures that there is nothing similar in Zelenskyy's new plan. The task now is to meet with the American leaders, present a new initiative, publicly release this document, and call on the Western world to support it. The plan will be presented in the USA, as this country is Ukraine's strongest partner and has the power to ensure its implementation. But the implementation of this document depends not only on the American side. Volodymyr Zelenskyy spoke about the deadlines for the implementation of the document. The plan is designated for decisions that should happen from October to December and not delay those processes. We would really like that. Then we think this plan will work. Russia has produced the largest amount of artificial intelligence content to influence the upcoming US presidential election, according to an official within the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. The official spoke on condition of anonymity during a briefing for reporters on the alleged use of AI by Russia and other countries to influence the outcome of the US vote on November 5th. According to the official, Russia is a much more sophisticated player and has a better understanding of how the US elections work and what its goals are. According to the intelligence official, Russian agents of influence widely distributed a video that was staged, not created by artificial intelligence. Last week, Microsoft said its internal research showed the video was part of a covert Russian disinformation operation, as Reuters reports. According to the official, China is using AI content as a tool to influence global perceptions of the country rather than to directly influence the outcome of the US election. China is using AI in broader influence operations to shape global opinion about China and amplify divisions in American politics, he said, adding that there is no confirmed evidence yet of China using AI technology for any specific operations aimed at the outcome of the United States elections. Iranian influence agents, the officials said, have already used AI to generate social media posts and write inauthentic news articles for sites that pose as legitimate news sites. The content created by Iranian agents was in English and Spanish. The official said it was aimed at American voters across the political spectrum and covered polarizing issues such as Israel's military operation in Gaza and the US presidential candidates. During its presidency of the Council of the European Union, Hungary will implement all decisions taken at the EU level aimed at helping Ukraine. This was stated by Hungarian Minister for European Union Affairs János Bokka at a press conference in Brussels after a meeting with his colleagues from other EU member states. One of the topics of the meeting was that the discussion of the priorities of the Hungarian presidency of the EU.
I can confirm that as the debate on the presidency priorities was a public debate, it is clear that one of the messages quite a few member states formulated was that they consider Ukraine and the continued support for Ukraine to be the top priority of the European Union. I must emphasize that the Hungarian presidency program also deals with the continuing support for Ukraine. And in my remarks, I also reiterated the intention of the Hungarian presidency to continue with legislative and non-legislative files in the spirit of the guidance and conclusion of the European Council and adopted EU policies.
Bokka emphasized that the EU ambassadors will meet and discuss the implementation of the G7 decision to allocate a loan of $50 billion to Ukraine. Also, the so-called winter package for Ukraine will be on the agenda of the ambassadors' meeting next week, and then the same issue will be discussed at the meeting of EU energy ministers on October 15th. Recall that during her last visit to Kyiv on September 20th, the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said that the EU plans to provide Ukraine with a loan of 35 billion euros as part of the implementation of the G7 decision to allocate $50 billion in aid. The loan will be secured by interest received from immobilized Russian assets. And that concludes our video for today. Thanks you for staying with us. Comment, like and subscribe on our UATV English channel for more news from Ukraine, because it is your support that really matters for us. Goodbye.